Hi, Conrad.
I'm a great believer in Jesus Christ, and I've been walking in freedom with God's help from nicotine addiction, excessive gambling, and depression. And since attending Celebrate Recovery, God has helped me overcome excessive drinking, internet pornography, compulsive use, book collecting, and sex addiction. I'm currently working on cleanliness, my expectations of others, and lustful thoughts. A number of weeks ago, I think it was 3, last count, we had a kind of celebration or tribute to Glenda and Don. I wanted to keep my sharing to 3 to 5 minutes, like it says in the rules. I wrote 619 words and gave Glenda all but 6 of them. For you newcomers, Don and Glenda started CR here at Manual over 9 years ago. Although what I said about Don was true, it was done in kind of a rude manner. We talked about this during the lesson on spiritual inventory part 1. Getting a laugh at another's expense. Well, I got a really good laugh. Now it's a men's time. For those who don't know who Don is, now they rearranged the room. Last week and all the weeks I've known Don, he's always sat in the very last table. Now he's all the way down. Always been next to the wall. So anyway, he's that old fellow that sits all the way in the back of the room, just in front of the sound booth. Well, now he's over here. Not my fault. Before I had my cataract surgery, when I couldn't drive at night, I couldn't drive at over 35 miles an hour during the day. If I needed to ride somewhere, Don was there. Although I didn't take advantage of his free service more than once, it was greatly appreciated. Tonight I'm going to talk about a subject in which I have absolutely no experience. Marriage. I've never been married. I have, however, in my 78 plus years, witnessed many marriages, some good, some not so good, some horrible. Tonight I'm going to talk about a good marriage. Through my years of observing husbands, now I won't insult you women in this room by pretending I know anything about your part in the marriage. But I've noticed that there are 3 types of men, if that's the right word, for different husbands. There is the good husband. This is the man who marries the love of his life, takes care of his wife and family, nurtures them in the Lord, and is there during all the normal hurts, hang-ups, and habits, and minor illnesses, broken bones, and other events that can occur in married life. Then there is a great husband. He has all the attributes of a good husband, but in addition manages to get through the really hard times. It may be life-threatening medical issues, mental breakdowns, financial disasters, or life crises. Although he may sometimes want to, or actually walk away, he always goes to the Lord for help and eventually comes back to face whatever is threatening his family. Finally, there is the extraordinary husband. My friend Don falls into this category.
Amen.
Not only does he surpass the great husband, but he endures things that the good husband can't even imagine. He accepts the fact that his wife has interacted over the years with hundreds of men and women in a close personal way. He accepts the fact that his wife spends an extraordinary amount of time taking broken, hurting women, young and old, and showing them the love of God and leading them to unbelievable recovery. He accepts his wife coming into close contact with men with handshakes and hugs. Takes an extraordinary man to handle this. I couldn't do it. I don't know how he's done it all these years, but he has. I'm going to ask him to stand up. If he doesn't want to, I ask those around him to help him stand up. Come on. Stand up, Don. You can do it. Stand up. I like those of you who know him to turn around and stare at him. Just look. He's that guy over back there holding his head in his hand.
We love you.
He refuses to stand up. Okay. Now, for those who love him, put your hands together. All right, that's enough of that. Well, Don, consider yourself blessed. I've given you more words than I gave Glenda, almost 690 Oh, by the way, you're a lucky man. You know, well, Glenda is a lucky woman, and we are blessed by your presence. Thanks for letting me share. Now we have something really special. Paula's about to give her testimony. And I've heard her testimony, and you want to listen to this. So get your Kleenexes out.
Probably.
Paula, you got the mic.
Thank you, Conrad. Hello, everybody. My name is Paula. I'm a great believer in Jesus Christ. I am a survivor of all different types of abuse and an overcomer of many different types of addictions, including methamphetamine, cocaine, marijuana, and love and sexual addiction, so on and so on and so on. And currently, I'm still working on smoking cigarettes and trying to be obedient to the best of my ability to be the best me I could be. My birth itself was a fight. I was a breech baby and came out with a cord wrapped around my neck 3 times. This was the way I spent most of the first 43 years of my life. Showing my butt, purple in the face, and angry that things weren't going my way. My dad was an alcoholic and abusive to my mom. My mom was a control freak with many codependent traits. I had 2 sisters as well, but one of them was only with us sometimes. At 4 years old, my life would completely change, as I got shot at close range with a 20-gauge shotgun by a 13-year-old boy over some old maid cards. My sister pulled me towards her at the last minute and saved my life. Well, mostly. I still died for 7 minutes, but that's a story for a different time. Due to this, my whole family had to move to Texas. Beyond this, I thought we had a pretty normal childhood. I mean, didn't everyone live in chaos and dysfunction? Wasn't everybody else's dad gone working all the time? I was in my church in my young life. I went on Sunday mornings and Sunday evening and on Wednesdays as well. My parents encouraged us going, but they never went with us. When I was 12 years old, I was saved at church camp. I have often struggled with acceptance and rejection issues. I mean, I was shy, smart, fat, and had a jacked up arm. How popular do you think I was? Anyway, I think I went to the altar because I wanted to be like everybody else. Of course I knew Jesus loved me, but I didn't really understand the depth of that love. Later that year, I would take my first drink, but it didn't stop there. I continued drinking all through my teen years, even losing my virginity on a drunken bet at a party and quitting school 6 weeks before I graduated. But alcohol made me lose my inhibitions. It made me be able to talk, be funny, and people accepted me and liked me. Boys liked me. I wanted to be loved, and I wanted to be wanted. This was the beginning of a pretty serious love and sexual addiction in my life, although I didn't know it yet. The following year, we moved to Lubbock, Texas, and I went back to school. Quickly fitting in with the party crowd, I managed to graduate and get into an art school in Phoenix. Once there, I dove way deeper into the club scene and began smoking marijuana regularly. I was living the college life. I met a man there who treated me so well. He pursued me, took me out, showed me off, and made me feel like I was loved. Or at least my idea of love. I was pregnant before I knew it, and because I was very young and he was a recovering addict, we felt that the best decision was to abort the child. As soon as I did it, I knew it was the wrong choice. I immediately felt full of shame, guilt, and anger. He quickly moved on to other women, and I was destroyed. I got even deeper into drugs. Methamphetamine was my new addiction, along with the others I already had, including mushrooms, ecstasy, acid, marijuana, alcohol, you name it, I was doing it. It escalated quickly, and I became affiliated with certain groups of pretty bad people, until my mother got off the truck in Phoenix and came and found me in a city of over 4 million people. Her and my uncle showed up armed at the dealer's house and took me back to Texas. But that didn't stop me from doing meth. If you've ever been on that side of life, you know there's like a sign on your forehead of what your DOT is. And for those of you who don't know what DOT is, it's drug choice. Anyway, while still in my mess, I found my first husband. He was deep in the life, and I had come to the point where I really didn't want that anymore. But anyway, we were married anyway and pregnant within the year. And as our married life began, so did the physical abuse. It got worse after our son was born. I was pregnant again right away and miscarried because of stress and abuse. But I just knew I could love him through it. So quickly after that, I was pregnant again. And in the midst of this, a son that I didn't know was sent to us to help raise. Then my second son was born. That was the year we had another knock at the door. It was the Department of Health telling us that my husband had AIDS. They questioned us extensively about our sexual partners, what type of drugs we did, how we did them, our kids, and so on. He had lost over 100 pounds, and I would be lying if I didn't say I stared death in the face more than once when taking care of him. Soon after, another child I didn't know about came to live with us as well. It wasn't the best environment for her, but her mother didn't want her, and her grandfather had already sexually abused her. So I guess at that point we were the lesser of two evils. The abuse was weekly, if not daily, and the drug use had got completely out of control. And one night, in a meth-induced madness, he forced himself on me. And to add to it, a day after that, he put his hands on his daughter. A month later, I found out I was pregnant. I was scared, and I knew that I had had enough. So I left. This was such a difficult time in my life. The doctors were concerned not only for my health and safety, but also for this beautiful unborn child. They gave me the choice to abort, but I just didn't do it again. Everything inside me kept telling me no. So on March 8, 2002, I welcomed my beautiful daughter into this world. She was perfect, and thank God we were both healthy. I had met one particular guy that sparked my interest around this time, and not long after that, we were living together. Both of us came from alcoholic, abusive childhoods, and we were living those behaviors out in full fashion. My children watched as I drank and smoked and fought over the pettiest things. Because doesn't everything seem so big when you're drinking or you're high? Soon after we started our relationship, we moved back into Lubbock. He was in and out of jobs, and I was working all the time, but the city life brought so much more chaos into our lives. Beginning with the day at work that I looked up at the TV, and my ex-husband was on there being indicted for bank robbery and organized crime. From that day, it would be more than a year of the FBI walking my kids in and out of school and watching and listening to everything that went on in and around our house. It was a very scary and stressful time, which only added to the garbage that already overwhelmed us in our lives. During that year, our drinking increased even more, and I added a lot of cocaine to the mix on top of my marijuana usage. Somehow, I still managed to get pregnant again. This was a little bit crazy because I was big. The baby was an ectopic pregnancy and was a life or death situation. I had to have the baby, one tube, and both ovaries removed. And when I went back home, his answer